Before the story begins, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel for more real and true life stories. Thank you. Don't forget, this is a true life story. I have done things in my life that are really disturbing me, and my conscience is always judging me every day, and it doesn't set me free. I have been shutting my doors and crying every day. I am someone who is fond of social media platforms. One day I was chatting on Facebook when I chanced on a friend's ex-girlfriend, and we started chatting. She was my friend, so we had a cool chat and shared memories. She told me she has begun to like me, and I told her I like her too. After our chat, I was going through her pictures on Facebook, and she was really looking so beautiful. The kind of clothes she wears and other stuff, and they were awesome. So I asked her one day if I could meet up with her because I wanted to have a conversation with her. She told me it wasn't a problem, which means we could meet. She was tossing me around, postponing the meeting date until I started giving her pressure. We finally decided on a date, and she sent me a direction to her apartment. The house she lives in wasn't bad at all. As a young girl, staying in that kind of apartment was commendable. When we finally met, I told her I have completed school and find it difficult to get a job, which has resulted in me sleeping around for money. The men say I'm beautiful, so men always come around. I accept some and reject some. Those that I accept sleep with me and give me money. But I don't even use the money for any productive thing. After telling my friend my story, she told me she would help me out. I believed her because, looking at her and where she stays as a young girl, she was blessed. The apartment was nice, and everything was there. Fully furnished. So I had no doubt about her offer to help me at all. She then told me she would help me, so when the time comes, she would take me to a place, to which I agreed. When the time was up, I called her, and she asked me to come so we could go to the place for the help. We traveled outside Ghana by road, and the journey was too far. I wasn't even comfortable when we were going, but I had to go. The goal was to get money because there was no one taking care of me. And I wanted to also have a better life. We finally got to the place and met a man. The man looked like a traditional herbalist, and the man told me he would help me. The man requested items, which I even had no money for. I turned to my friend, and she told me I shouldn't worry, she would take care of everything until I start to get money, then I pay her off. What the herbalist asked from me again got me shaking the whole day at the place. The man wanted 7 one-week-old babies. I was shaking like someone who has been attacked by malaria. I couldn't even believe my ears that day. I was scared. So I asked the spiritualist where I could get those 1-week babies. He told me I shouldn't worry because I can pay money for his boys to get them for me. My friend paid the money, and I was shocked at what I saw. All of a sudden, I saw the boys of the spiritual man carrying the 7 of the 1-week babies and brought them to him. I was asking myself where they got those babies from. While I kept asking myself those questions, they put the babies in the mortar and started pounding them with a pestle like fufu until they finished with all 7 babies. I heard the cry of the babies, and I was emotional until their cry died out. The spiritualist started mixing something with the pounded babies, and he asked me to wrap myself in a black cloth and bind my head with one black cloth. What he did with the pounded babies on me was so shocking and unbelievable. The man brought up a blade and started to make some marks on my undercanoe. Blood started coming out of the marks he has made on my private part, and he started to fill the cuts with the pounded babies. He took the blade and did some cuts on my tongue as well. He then mixed some black liquid with the pounded babies and gave it to me to drink. The purpose of the drink was that, whatever I open my mouth to ask from a man, she will obey and give it to me after he has proposed to me. In my head, I was happy because I was finally going to get money to start having a good life. After drinking the concoction, he asked me to go and rest, and the next step will continue the next day. The following day, at midnight, he took me to one scary place, and your guess is as good as mine. He took me to a cemetery, and I was so scared. Initially, I thought we had done with everything, not knowing we could be going deeper. All this while, my friend was with me. At the cemetery, the spiritualist gave me a bucket full of water herbs and asked me to bathe with it and wash my undercanoe with it at the cemetery. The reason was that, whenever a man sleeps with me, anything I asked him, he would do for me. I was happy when the man told me that. So I went ahead and performed the rituals. After moving out from the man's shrine, I met a man in the same town. When the man met me, he told me I was beautiful and he wanted to help me. I got excited because I realized what the man did for me actually worked. I went with him to his house, and he slept with me over there. He gave me so much money, and I was so happy. I thanked my friend for helping me out. Men were following me around like dogs. I slept with most of them and got so much money from it. Even the house I am living right now, I bought with the money I got from the men. It got to a point where some of the men wanted to lick my undercanoe even during my menstruation. And I was enjoying every bit of it, so I didn't care. Some even wanted to lick my urine. One day, something strange happened, which got me scared, and that's why I'm sharing this story. I traveled with that friend of mine outside Ghana. When we went to the place, everyone went their separate ways. The guys I went to told me I had to sleep with 4 men. The money involved was so huge, so it wasn't a bother to me at all sleeping with 4 men. After all, I have slept with countless men, so I was cool with it. My interest was in the money. After sleeping with the 3 of the men, there comes the 4th one. When the 4th one entered me, I had some strong feelings that I had never experienced before. It was so sweet that when I was mourning, I told myself I would take the mask the guy was wearing. All the men I slept with were wearing masks, including me. So I took the mask off the guy's face, and I was shocked by the man I saw. Because I never believed I would see him in such a place. The man that was sleeping with me was an elderly brother of my biological father. I got scared when I saw him. My uncle pretended he hasn't seen me, and I also pretended I didn't know him. After the trip, my uncle one day called and asked me to go and seek help. I didn't understand what he told me. One strange thing that happened was that my parents died mysteriously right after my trip. I was just there when they called and told me they weren't feeling well. I gave them money to foot the hospital bills. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it. I was asking myself what could have caused the death of my parents mysteriously. Could it be the work I'm doing, or that one that I went outside the country to sleep with the 4 men? My uncle told me where I went was a scary place, so I should go and seek help. Right after my uncle told me that, a month later, my uncle was down with stroke and died 1 month later. That's not all that has happened to me. Now my under canoe has shrunk so little that my finger can't even enter. It has become too small. I couldn't believe it at first, so I took my phone and recorded it. I have it here, which I can even show you. My friend that I went to the trip with is nowhere to be found at the moment, and her phone isn't going through as well. Please help me, I am begging you.
If you enjoyed this story, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more captivating tales. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.